The gentleman standing here has had the best and the worst. And the best because it has made him who he is today. And the worst because at Form 2 I had ulcers and I was going crazy. In fact, I was to see I went to hospital for so long and I was told the only person who can cure me is a psychiatrist because I was running mad. So my mom got me when she was in Form 3, when she was 17 years of age. And she later decided to get married to somebody. But now I was not his biological son. And now my mom had given him his own. So that's where life started hitting hard. And that's where the feeling of being unwanted, unloved, and uncared for started. So I was taken up by my grandfather, so the one who raised me up through primary school. During my time, I did my KCSE in 2001. I was the best in Molo, called to Alliance, but there was no school fees to take me to Alliance. So I had to go to a district day school called Kieni Secondary School somewhere in Subukia, and now go and stay with my aunt and my uncle there. You can imagine how rough it was that now that my uncle and my aunt are since divorced because of family conflicts, serious family issues. But anyway, so I went to day school. Fare from Subukia to a place called Kirengero, distance of around 5 kilometers, was 5 shillings to and from. But I didn't have that 5 bob. So most of the time, I would walk to school and back in the evening. And of course, my aunt used to work far away, so I had to go back home and cook and go look after the animal. We had mbuzi, so nienda nikatafuta majani ya mbuzi, alafu nikuja nipike before you even start of doing homework. Of course, there was no electricity, so una rely na mafuta taa, and most of the time we run out of paraffin. So you'll have now to wake up very in the morning to be in school before 5 a.m. so that you can do your homework, because you could not do the homework at home because there was no power at home. But that's how I did for 4 years. Ended up scoring an A in my KCSE of 2005 and got admitted to join Kenyatta University. But if you got an A, you got an admission letter to Kenyatta University and a fee of 32,000 shillings a year minus accommodation. Where do you even start? So I went to a dairy farm and was employed as a milkman, earning 60 shillings a day. And my hope was to save enough so that I can pay my own school fees. Of course, before, what do you eat out of 60 bob? And this is not kitambo, it's not like in the 90s. My grandfather used to tell me, ati kutoka Nairobi hadi Nakuru ulikuwa unalipa fare 1 shilling and 50 cents. Then, of course, those days were 20 years ago. We're talking about 2006. That's 12 years ago. Okay, of course, it's a lot of time for most of us. But so 60 shillings, supposed to eat, supposed to save for university. But 1 month down the line, my principal of my former school called me. Asked, what are you doing? Then I said, mimi niko milkman. Akaniambia, hapana, huwezi kuwa ulipata A, alafu koko, wewe ndio unakamua na wale watu waliachia class 4. So you employed me as an untrained teacher. So I started teaching, earning 2,500 shillings a month. Of course, it was a big relief from 1,800. I got a salary increment of 800, starting to earn 2,500. I taught for the entire time before I joined campus, but that made sure that by the time I joined university, I'd saved around 14,000 shillings that I paid for my first semester at Kenyatta University. So came to KU. We did a harambe at home to raise money so that I can top up for my university. And there's one thing I remember, and I keep telling this story. This one old woman, naitwa Shosho Virginia. I know ZP, you know her. She came and she said, I don't have money to give you, but I have these two gorogoro. You know gorogoro, what gorogoro is? Niko na hii gorogoro mbili ya mahindi, hata kama sitakupea pesa ya uende ukasome, usilale njaa. No, to say it in Gikuyu, nidi na biashara yako neno ke gorogoro ishigire. Niguo uthidogeke atia? Tukararire. And up to date, I still remember the gesture of that widow. And that's why I got miraculous myself into politics. When I got a job and I really made my first million. I took 690,000, bought fertilizer, 50 kg fertilizer, and 10 kgs of maize seeds, and distributed to my whole division of where I come from, because I thought these are the people who gave me maize to go home, to go to school and study. So joined Kenyatta University. Of course, now we raised that money, joined Kenyatta University, and I realized we cannot be doing Harambee every year. And help was not even, there's something called higher education loan support. It was not enough to sustain me in school. And remember also, my mom divorced, separated from my father, from my stepfather, got some other 3 children, so we are 5 boys, and without a job. So when I'm going to university, before I leave home, my mom asks me now, unatuachia nini? Sasa wewe unaenda Nairobi, unatuachia nini? And I am a student. But I would understand, because she has a burden of feeding 4 kids, paying rent for them, and it was really overwhelming. So I had a way to survive. So once my help hit in my account, I remember it was 20,000, I went to Gikomba and just went and bought stuff, vests, bras, panties, lip balm, lip gloss, all those things. And then now in the evening, after classes, I would really get very well dressed, in a small suitcase, and I'll go door to door, go around the hostels and saying, my name is Kuria, and I'm selling all this, And now some people would come and they would take all the things from your bag, and hii ni pesa ngapi, the way you do to the hawkers, hii ni pesa ngapi, hii ni pesa ngapi, hii ni pesa ngapi, and then they don't even buy. That was most disappointing. But there are some that would even buy. And one of those that bought was a girl called Mombi. I sold her a calculator, later sold her my love, and married her. And now she has a son of me, 3 years now. But I never thought that whatever I was doing was wrong. And that's how I survived 4 years through campus. And that's how I bought my first piece of land from that selling, because I went and became now a distributor. Now I would have guys, I would go get the stuff and now give to Rachel, say, these are things worth 20,000, but I know the value of this is 30,000 and we're going to make 3,000 profit. Then I give to Ndongo this one. So I became now a distributor. And gradually that income grew, and I realized that I made a sale and my savings was 800,000 shillings. And I used that money. I think that was a stupid move then. But it's good to have a good friends, because then Winnie again, my friend then, nikamwambia nataka kununua plot. Girls around 19 will not encourage you to buy a piece of land, really. Maybe tungeenda Mombasa to jivinjari, but we actually bought a piece of land where we build our Nairobi home today. From that time. Anyway, so survived through the 4 years in campus. Graduated with honors. I remember I was a valedictorian on my class. I was the best in the class. In fact, I'm the one who gave the graduate speech of our time. Did Bachelor of Commerce in Finance. Then I realized that for you to make sense in the finance world, you needed to have CPA qualifications. So my friends from rich families were going to KCA University in the evening for CPA classes. I could hardly pay for my own fees at the university. So how do I even pay for KCA? So I enrolled. I sat for all my CPA exams, passed all of them without ever attending any class. And that's why today, in addition to my by the way, Ndongo, my appropriate title should be Honorable CPA Kuria Kimani, because I'm a certified public accountant. So did my 4 years, graduated, and of course, during that time, I'm a staunch Catholic, brought up in Catholic church. So in second year, I got elected as a chairperson of the Catholic community of the whole of Kenyatta University. And I remember Rachel was serving in the Christian Union, and I was now in the Catholic Church. So during that time, it gave me a time to interact with the VC. The VC was still my Professor Muganda, is my mentor and my personal friend, and got to interact with very many people, because when the leadership of the university were called, then I was one of the leaders of the university. Then I graduated. The valedictorian of the class, you're a CPA, you have a degree. Then I went looking for a job. My friend, there is no single bank in this country that doesn't have my application letter on my CV. So I wrote emails to all of them. I realized emails are not going. I delivered copies to the head office and realized this is not working. I delivered written applications to the branches. The other day, I remember passing through and I see, I think they wanted me to sign something. And I went and told them, the last time I was at this branch, I was bringing an application letter for a job. And in fact, introducing myself as your colleague, where you're so full of yourself. So you can say, I'm going to be your next colleague in this bank. But here is how? This is my application letter. And you need to realize now that might have been a little stupid, because even the person you're giving your application form for your application letter for this job could be an intern in that bank, or could even be, I don't know, anyone else. When was it? I think when was I at Equity? 3 weeks ago, I went to Equity Center. I had a meeting with the CEO of Equity Bank. Now he's here. Now I also remembered my experience dropping my application at Equity Center. And I remember insisting that I have to give it to the HR manager. Then I was told by the G4S guard at the gate, this is the farthest you can go. So if you have any letters, you may now leave it here. But anyway, to cut the long story short, I later applied for a job at the US Embassy. They had a job for a budget analyst. I went for the interview. And one letter that's still on my folder was a regret letter from them telling, you're very ambitious young man, you great potential, but we regret. We need someone with more experience, but you were second best. We're going to keep your CV in our database for the next 2 years. So if there's a new position that comes up at the US Embassy, then we'll be happy to call you. I still treasure that letter because it's the only letter I've ever received from an employer regretting my application, despite having made thousands of them. Anyway, so later I joined. I got an internship at U.S. Catholic Foreign Missionary Society. I did very well at my internship, and a job opened up for regional finance manager for Africa region. I applied, and I was the best. So before joining politics, I was serving as a regional finance manager for Africa region for U.S. Catholic Foreign Missionary Society. That's a brief, even a summary of my life. Of course, then those activities of the people, I realized there is a lot that needs to be done by leaders. And I thought that we have politicians who go to politics for the wrong reasons. And I also said that politics is taken by people as a retirement package. Where once umefanya kazi ingine yote, unaenda kwa siasa kama ya mwi. And I said, I want to be a change. I want to take politics as a career. That when what do you do for a living? I am a politician. And these politicians can make a difference in this country. And that's the route I decided to take, and I'm not looking back. You are here 13 years of age, from a very humble background. Probably you don't even know who your father is. But I am going to tell you today that story will not be relevant 10 years from now. Because you're going to be an ambassador of this country somewhere. I was looking at the session this morning. A 28-year-old, then after my bachelor's, I enrolled for master's at Strathmore University and graduated with Master of Commerce International Business Management. And that's not enough. I've enrolled for another master's. In fact, I think I'm paying fees next week. Another master's in agribusiness management. Because there is nothing. The only thing that lasts is what you put in your mind. You're going to eat that food, you'll be hungry the next 2 hours. True or false? But what you feed in your mind will never perish, will never go away. I was saying, go to school, study, and stop asking irrelevant questions. So, those things I do, who father is, who your mother is, what happens, what after this, where do I go? There's a book, I'm not very good at quoting verses, but I know there's a verse in the Bible that says, since the laying of the foundation of the world, I knew you and made plans for you. And in my lowest, that's something I always remind myself. That God made a plan for you. And you might be here thinking, oh, I'm so disadvantaged. Look, you have people who are going to pay fees for you for the next 4 years. So stop pitying yourself. We have people people who are living in big families and don't have anyone to pay their fees. So when you're counting your worries, school fees is no longer your worry. So pitying yourself. I have a niece who came to visit me at home. And this morning I was asking her, so what grade did you get last term? And she said, I got a C. So what was the best subject? Then she tells me, biology. What did you get in biology? I got a C+. Then I ask her, what is the difference between osmosis and diffusion? It's like, see. Then she didn't know. And I could tell her what the difference between osmosis and diffusion is. And I told her, I last did my biology exam 13 years ago. And I can't remember. Wewe, hata hujajaza kitabu moja. Which subject have you filled a book? Most of you are in Form 1, right? What book have you? Ni kitabu gani umejaza notes ikaja? Students, am I speaking to somebody? Kuna hata kitabu moja umejaza? So it's simple. So if you can get that now, how do you hope to pass a KCSE exam 4 years from now that would have been accumulation of 4 years of study? Start with those 10 pages. Read as if you're reading for your KCSE. Now, I say, and I dare say, tell you, there are questions you can ask me, even if you call me from my sleep and ask me a question in chemistry. That was one of my favorite subjects. I'll answer you. Because I read like this is my life. And trust you me, this education could be your life. But again, you have people who are good at other things. I remember during campaigns, you meet a lot of people. Mimi ni muimbaji na mimi huwa naimba lakini mheshimiwa ningetaka unisupport. So namuuliza umeimba wimbo gani? Nimeandika mingi na umerecord hata hapana sijarecord lakini hapo unataka unisaidie? Then I asked him, this is someone who even has a smartphone. Even if you don't have a smartphone, the regular kabambe phone has a recorder. Namwambia, si at least urecord hiyo music yako kwa ka recorder, unipe nisiki. You're probably in church, and I'm telling them, in this church you should have offered yourself to sing. So that gradually, people start knowing your song. Because it's not the recording that sells music. It's not. Nani amenunua ile CD ya Short and Sweet? Who knows that song, Short and Sweet? Let me ask again. Who knows the song Short and Sweet by Sauti Sol? Hata wewe hujui? You swear you don't know. Na unajua unaimba yote kutoka mwanzo hadi mwisho. Did you buy a record of it? Umebuy CD yake? Lakini kwa sababu ilichezwa, ikachezwa hadi ikianza tu hata shosho yangu unasikia unaona kuka pale ameanza kufanya ile hivi. Si unaona amecheka kwa sababu amejua your move. Speaking of which, have you watched that video? Do you see that lady that does like this? As a result, that lady, anaitwa Agnes. Good. Unaona na ulikuwa unasema ujui hiyo wimbo. Kumbe unajua hata dance hiyo ngoma. That lady now, Agnes, is so famous that I'm telling you, if she uses her publicity well, if I were her, I'll look for a brand to endorse. And the next thing you'll see her on the TV endorsing a brand like this, maybe a Safaricom brand or something like this. It's going to be paid millions of shillings of money. Why? Because when she got a chance to dance, she didn't just dance, she gave her everything to that dance. Someone's telling you, some of us are blessed with books academically. But you could be a runner. You could be a footballer. You could be a musician. You could be an artist. Start those things. Have an artist book every day. Improve on your drawing. And maybe that's what will make a big name for yourself. I'll give you an example of Mombi again. I think her passion in design is not more of her academic knowledge, but her love for it. You know, she would stay at home and ask me, what am I wearing to church tomorrow? Then I said, I don't know. They said, that is the previous night. Asubuhi would hear asui machine. Grrr, grrr, grrr. Then I'm asking, what? Anashangaa hiyo kelele inatoka wapi? So she's woken up to to make a dress that you'll wear to church that day. Because you've realized that, vile women, no matter how many clothes you have, you never seem to have anything to wear at any particular time. So when she feels she doesn't have anything to wear, she makes it then. But I don't think it's something that she learned in school. It's her passion for it. I'm seeing a photographer there. There has been photos that have won awards. And those photos that have won award are photos that someone has given in their best for, where you take that so nice shot. I remember, ulilipo your picture, ile ya pop.
Sikulipo.
Hey, my friend. But at least you trended. Your name is on BBC, if I remember. Remember that time Pop came to Kenya? So Dongonyoro with his phone took a photo of the Pope and on that and now shared it. Then it was quoted on BBC and all those media. You should claim something for it, for sharing your photo. So if you are a photographer, you would have made a name for yourself. So, young women and men, today I say this to you. The sky is not even the limit. But for you to get there, you got to believe in yourself. You got to stop pitying yourself. You got to know that God has plans for you, and those are great plans, and give your best to whatever that you do. Thank you, and God bless you.